Clash of civilizations among the stars. Picture a quiet colony on Mars. The domes glow faintly under a pale red sky. Families go about their routines. Children play in reduced gravity. Then imagine the silence broken by machinery or by dust storms, but by a signal not of human origin. In that instant, humanity's greatest question, are we alone, is answered. And the answer is not silence, but presence. What happens next could shape the fate of every colony, every world, every human heart. History on Earth teaches us that when civilizations meet, the outcome is rarely equal. The strong absorbs, exploits, or destroys the weaker. When Europeans arrived in the Americas, entire nations were reshaped, erased, or assimilated. When powerful empires expanded, smaller cultures vanished into memory. Will the stars repeat this pattern, magnified on a cosmic scale? First, consider the psychological shock. For thousands of years, humanity has stood at the center of its own story, gazing into the void and seeing only reflection. To suddenly know we are not unique is to fracture our identity. Colonists might ask, are we pioneers or trespassers? Is Mars ours to claim, or a territory already marked by unseen intelligence? Now imagine the possibilities of such encounters. Perhaps the beings we meet are advanced beyond comprehension, wielding technologies that bend space and time.
Are we pioneers or trespassers?
Our domes and rovers may seem like children's toys. Would they view us with curiosity, pity, or hostility? To them, we might not be rivals, but ants building fragile mounds on the edges of their empire. Or perhaps the opposite is true. Perhaps we meet others just beginning their climb, civilizations fragile as ours once was. Would humanity take the role of teacher, ally, or conqueror? Would we repeat the mistakes of our ancestors, exploiting those less advanced, justifying it as progress? There is also the possibility of indifference. Imagine vast alien civilization so immense that humanity is beneath notice, our colonies flickering like sparks against their cosmic storm. Indifference might be mercy or it might be danger, for a footstep does not notice the ants it crushes. But the most haunting thought, what if we are not greeted, but challenged? If survival in the cosmos means competition, then humanity may face wars not for land or water, but for entire planets, resources beyond imagination. Imagine fleets of ships shadowing each other across the void, not with swords or guns, but with weapons that rewrite the fabric of reality. Such conflict would not just be physical, it would be existential. The loser might not merely die, but be forgotten, erased from memory, absorbed into the myths of the victor. And yet, amid the dread, there is hope. Encounters could bring not war, but renaissance. Imagine exchanging knowledge or understanding of DNA for their mastery of energy, our stories of Earth for their chronicles of ancient stars. Perhaps together, civilizations could weave a tapestry greater than any one species could dream. Perhaps cooperation, not conquest, is the true destiny of intelligence. But let us not forget the human factor. Even before meeting aliens, conflict may brew between human colonies themselves. Earthborn and Martian-born may clash, their values diverging as environments shape them differently. Lunar settlers may resent Earth's control. Ocean colonists may see themselves as freer,
Do they even notice us?
In this fracture, alien contact could become catalyst for unity, or tearing us further apart. So, when humanity looks beyond Earth, it is not only physics and biology we must prepare for, but diplomacy, philosophy, and morality. Every colony, every settlement, every breath under an alien sky is a rehearsal for something larger. The moment when we realize we are not the only storytellers in the universe. And perhaps the most chilling thought of all is not where we will find others, but whether they already know we exist. What if they have been waiting, watching, deciding? In that case, The clash of civilizations may not be a distant possibility. It may already have begun. Silently. Before we even take our next step.
The clash has already begun.
The burden of isolation. Picture yourself standing on the surface of a distant planet. The sky above is alien, perhaps tinted green. Perhaps lit by two suns, or none at all. Round you lies a horizon of silence, stretching farther than any desert on Earth. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you realize the nearest other human settlement is not a few miles away, not even a few continents away, but millions of kilometers beyond the stars. You are alone in a way no human has ever truly been. Isolation is more than distance. It is weight on Earth, no matter how remote. The knowledge lingers that others on Earth airlines pass overhead, that radios hum with voices, that rescue, however unlikely, exists. But on a colony world, rescue is a myth. A call for help would take minutes, hours,
Fire detected.
or even years to reach Earth, depending on the distance. Imagine a fire in a Martian dome. Imagine a radiation breach on Europa. There is no cavalry coming, no quick salvation. Only yourself, your crew, and the silence. Psychologists already know what long isolation does to the human mind. Astronauts on the International Space Station report vivid dreams, sudden swings between euphoria and despair, and the deep ache of missing Earth. But that is in orbit, where the blue planet still hangs visible outside the window. Now imagine generations who never see Earth at all. What happens to a mind that never knows forests, oceans, or crowds? What becomes of loneliness when it is inherited? Perhaps new forms of community will emerge. Colonists might become intensely bonded. Families not of blood, but of survival. A single dome might be seen as a single body, each person a vital organ, each role irreplaceable. To lose someone would not just be grief, it would be amputation. Perhaps rituals would evolve to bind communities tighter, ceremonies not for religion, but for unity. Breathing together, eating together, mourning together, survival itself is sacred. And yet, isolation breeds division too. When colonies drift far from Earth, their values may shift, their philosophies harden. Imagine a Martian child growing up hearing of Earth only as leisure, a place of abundance and weakness. Imagine lunar settlers resenting Earth's control, demanding independence. Isolation is not only personal, it is political. The distance between worlds may fracture humanity into separate identities, separate destinies. Still, there is beauty in solitude. In silence, humans often find meaning. Picture standing on a rocky plain, the stars blazing above, brighter than any night sky of Earth. In that vastness, perhaps colonists will find not despair, but awe. Perhaps they will see themselves not as exiles, but as pioneer souls chosen to carry the story of life into places it has never been. But solitude is fragile. It can inspire, or it can consume. Imagine the rise of cults in isolated domes, small groups clinging to strange beliefs born of fear. Imagine leaders who exploit isolation to control, promising safety in exchange for obedience. History warns us, isolation can make us prophets at times. And then there is the haunting thought.
But at what cost to our resources?
Perhaps we will adapt not by resisting isolation, but by embracing it. Technology may link colonies and vast digital webs, but human hearts may slowly grow comfortable with silence. Over generations, colonists might no longer crave crowds, cities, or noise. Their idea of peace may be what we call loneliness. To Earth-born minds, they would seem cold, distant, detached. To themselves, they would be balanced, serene, children of silence. So the burden of isolation is not only danger, but transformation. It asks, Can we remain human when separated from the pulse of humanity itself? Or will distance and silence sculpt us into something new? Something Earth would not recognize. Perhaps, in the end, the greatest adaptation will not be to gravity, air, or hunger, but to solitude. To live on new worlds is to learn to be alone and to find meaning in that aloneness. And when the stars burn above and the silence stretches forever, humanity will whisper to itself, "We are not lost, we're expanding."
We are expanding.
Revolutions of tomorrow. Imagine the first whispers of rebellion echoing inside a Martian dome. Not against an enemy from the stars, but against ourselves, against the rules, the systems, the old Earth-born powers that claim to control. For every new world humanity touches, it will not only reshape our bodies and cultures, but also our politics. Where Earth once held sway, distance and hardship will plant the seeds of independence. And with independence comes revolution. History repeats itself. When Europeans colonized the Americas, they carried with them the languages, laws, and traditions of their homelands.
Transfer.
But oceans
Profits
divided
redirected to
years
Earth Bank
passed,
nodes.
and slowly, new identities formed. Colonists began to see themselves not as Europeans, but as something different, something new. In time, they demanded independence. Wars followed, nations were born, and the world was changed forever. Why would Mars or any colony any different? Picture Earth as the old capital, issuing decrees from across the void. Taxes on Martian crops, restrictions on Titan's energy exports, quotas on lunar mining. To Earth, these rules might seem reasonable. To colonists, they might feel like shackles. Imagine a Martian farmer watching their harvest of algae shipped to Earth while their own family eats ration paste. Imagine lunar workers laboring in helium mines, their profits flowing not to their children, but to distant Earth elites. Such imbalances do not last. They fester, they burn, they ignite. And revolutions in space will not be like revolutions on Earth. On Earth, rebels gather in streets, march on capitals, seize cities. But on Mars, a single dome might house thousands, linked by fragile systems. A protest there could risk survival itself. Imagine the tension. Colonists who must fight for freedom, yet cannot risk destroying the very habitats that keep them alive. Their revolutions will be careful, silent, perhaps even bloodless until they're not. Yet, rebellion is not always violent. Sometimes it is cultural. Colonists might slowly stop following Earth's holidays, creating their own Martian calendars. They might refuse Earth's measurements, inventing their own time based on Mars' longer days. Over generations, these quiet acts become louder than gunfire. One day, Earth may look up at Mars and realize the people there no longer think of themselves as Earthlings
They're on the cycle of
and
breath
what of new ideologies?
to protect.
On Earth, philosophies grew from soil, sky, and sea. On alien worlds, politics will be shaped by scarcity and survival. A Martian creed might value collective oxygen above all, teaching that every breath is shared, no life expendable. A Titan constitution might prize adaptability,
is survival.
seeing survival in methane seas as proof of strength. These values, born from necessity, will harden into politics, into manifestos, into banners waved in revolution. But revolutions are not always about freedom. They're about power. Who leads?
Earth
Who
tax,
controls?
our reject
Who benefits?
passes.
In fragile colonies, leaders may rise as visionaries,
Sever.
promising equality and survival. But history warns us, power corrupts, even under alien skies. Imagine a Martian governor refusing to share oxygen
Governor,
reserves with
our
lunar
oxygen
settlers.
reserves are
Imagine
critical.
a Titan leader
Restricted
hoarding
access.
energy,
Oxygen.
sparking wars across the void. The revolutions of tomorrow may not unite humanity, they may fracture it further. And yet, there is hope. Revolutions can also be renaissances. From the ashes of rebellion may rise new forms of governance, new ideas of community. Perhaps colonists will invent political systems we cannot imagine, designed not for nations but for planets, moons, and stations scattered across the stars. Perhaps the revolutions of tomorrow will teach us that unity is not uniformity, but harmony among difference. Still, the question lingers. When Martian children stand beneath their red sky, when Titan settlers look out across the infinity, when lunar workers toil in their silent mines, will they see Earth as mother or master? And when they choose to rebel, will it be for independence or survival? For revolutions are inevitable, not because humans seek conflict, but because we seek meaning. And on alien worlds, meaning will demand new stories, new freedoms, new futures. Perhaps one day, Earth itself will look up at Mars and whisper, they are no longer ours. And in that whisper, humanity will discover the truth that our revolutions do not end on Earth. They follow us into the stars. The many faces of humanity picture a gathering, not on Earth, but on neutral ground, a vast orbital station suspended above Saturn's rings, where representatives from every colony meet. Martians, tall and delicate, shaped by their low gravity. Lunar settlers, stoic and compact, hardened by lives in underground caverns. Ocean-born children of Europa, skin pale and lungs strong, grown in worlds where humidity and pressure sculpt their very biology. Titan's people, cloaked in protective gear, eyes adapted to dim orange haze. Each stands in the same hall, each descended from Earth, yet each now so profoundly different that they resemble branches of a tree, spreading outward into strange and beautiful forms.
To the conference.
This is the destiny of adaptation, not unity in sameness, but diversity in difference. For humanity, scattered across the stars, will become many while still remaining one. Consider how identity will fracture and bloom. Today, we call ourselves Earthlings, bound by one origin. Tomorrow, identity may be planetary. A Martian child might proudly say, I am not from earthy AM of Mars. A Titan settler may speak of methane seas as heritage. Europa-born children might see themselves as citizens of oceans no Earthling has ever touched. Over centuries, these identities could grow as distinct as nationalities are today, only far deeper, written into bones, lungs, and skin. But what holds us together when biology and culture drift so far apart? Language may diverge, new dialects born in domes and under oceans. Traditions may evolve, each colony inventing myths from its environment. Imagine Martian legends of dust storms as spirits, Europa's songs sung in liquid tones shaped by water acoustics, Titan's poetry written in metaphors of haze and cold. Earth's story saw forests, rivers, skies may one day sound like fairy tales to them. And yet, amid difference, the thread remains, memory of origin. However faint, however mythologized,
time of the ancients,
all will trace their stories back to the same cradle. Earth will become a symbol, not of dominance, but of kinship. A reminder that no matter how strange we become, we once breathed the same air,
consider the implications
walked the same
of this
sword,
decision.
Gazed at the same moon. But here lies the
identities
paradox.
are at
Will
stake.
this memory unite you or divide us?
We
Earth-born
are
humans may cling to
true
identity, seeing
humans.
themselves as true humans, guardians of tradition. Colonists, however, may see Earthlings as relics bound to a single planet, unable to adapt. This friction could spark conflict, wars of identity, debates of who has the right to call themselves human. Or it could spark something greater, a redefinition of humanity itself. Perhaps, over millennia, the word human will become to know. Martians, Titans, Europans may no longer fit its meaning. A new word may rise, a name for a species that has outgrown one world, that wears many faces but shares one spirit. Perhaps, in that name, humanity will find unity again. Not by erasing difference, but by embracing it. And maybe, Just maybe, this is the true gift of adaptation. Not survival, not power, but transformation. To scatter across the stars is to multiply possibilities. To become more than we ever could have been on one planet. To live as many, while still remembering we are one. So when the gathering takes place, when Martians and Earthlings, ocean-born and twilight dwellers stand together, they may look at one another and realize something profound. The future is not about leaving humanity behind. It is about expanding its definition until the word we stretches wide enough to hold the cosmos itself. And in that moment, on a station above Saturn, beneath the glow of alien skies, humanity will finally understand that the unknown is not to be feared. It is to be lived.
Is too narrow a word.